This video tutorial will teach you how to crochet a rabbit's head. Let's take a look. This is the front. This is the back. Divide it into 3 parts. Firstly, we need to crochet the head. That's the ball. Then we'll crochet the ear. The final step is to connect both. Start with the magic ring. Extend your left hand. Wrap the yarn around your little finger. Then pull it over your index finger. Finally, wrap it around your middle finger. Use your thumb and middle finger to pinch the intersection. Insert hook into the ring. Pick the yarn and pull up a loop. There's a loop on the hook now. Pick the yarn again and pull it through the loop on the hook. 1 chain is done. Continue working 6 single crochets. Insert hook into the magic ring. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook now. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 single crochet is done. Every V shape like this stands for a stitch. Place a marker here under both strands of the V shape. Continue working the second single crochet. Insert hook into the magic ring. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. The second is done. Continue working the third single crochet. Insert hook into the magic ring. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. Follow the same steps. Continue working the remaining 3 single crochets. 4, 5, 6, 6 single crochets are done. Next, pull the yarn tail hard. Until it can't be pulled. We are working in a spiral, so no need to make a slip stitch or chain stitch at the end of each round. Remove the marker. In round 2, we need to work 6 single crochets. Insert hook into the first stitch, where the marker was just now. Place the yarn tail on the hook, so that we can hide it while working. Work a single crochet first. The working method of single crochet is mentioned in round 1. The first stitch of each round needs to be marked. Work the other single crochet in the same stitch, hook the yarn, and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 increase is done. Continue working the second increase. Work a single crochet first. Similarly, work the other single crochet in the same stitch. The second single crochet is done. The third increase. The fourth increase. One increase here means working 2 single crochets in the same stitch. The fifth increase. The sixth increase. Round 2 is done. Now cut off the remaining yarn. In round 3, make a cycle 1 single crochet 1 increase. Repeat the cycle for 6 times. Work 1 single crochet first. Remove the marker and insert hook into the corresponding stitch. Similarly, mark the first stitch of round 3. One single crochet is done. Continue working 1 increase, that's to say, work 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Work 1 single crochet first. Work the other. One increase is done. The set is okay. By the same way, complete the remaining 5 sides. Continue 1 single crochet. 1 increase. One 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 single crochet. 1 increase. Round 3 is done. Remove the marker. Continue crocheting round 4. Make a cycle 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, 1 single crochet, and repeat the cycle for 6 times. Let's start the first cycle. Work 1 single crochet first. Insert hook. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. Mark the first stitch of round 4. Continue working 1 decrease, that's to say, work 2 single crochets in the same stitch. One increase is done. Still 1 single crochet. The first side is done. Continue crocheting the remaining 5 sides by the same way. Work 1 single crochet first, then 1 increase. Still 1 single crochet. The second side is done. Continue 1 single crochet first, 1 increase. Still 1 single crochet. The third side is done. Continue crocheting the remaining 3 sides according to the diagram in the upper left corner. Round 4 is done. Remove the marker. In round 5, make a set of 3 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat it for 6 times. Work 1 single crochet first. Place a marker in the first stitch. One increase. The first side is done. Continue crocheting the remaining 5 sides by the same way. Here's the last side. Still 3 single crochets, 1 increase. Round 5 is done. Continue crocheting round 6. Remove the marker. Make a set of 2 single crochets, 1 increase, 2 single crochets, and repeat the set for 6 times. Let's start the first set. 2 single crochets first. That's to say, 1 single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. Similarly, place a marker in the first stitch. The second single crochet. Then 1 increase. 1 increase means 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Still 2 single crochets, that's to say, 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. The first side is done. Continue making the remaining 5 sides. 2 single crochets first. Then 1 increase. Still 2 single crochets. Complete the remaining sides by the same way. Okay, round 6 is done. Continue crocheting round 7. Make a cycle 5 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat the set for 6 times. Remove the marker. Let's start the first set. Work 5 single crochets first. Place a marker in the first stitch. 5 single crochets means 1 single crochet in each of the first 5 stitches. Then 1 increase, that's to say, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. The first set is done. Complete the remaining 5 sets by the same way. Round 7 is done. Round 8 to 12. 42 single crochets per round. Let's start round 8 to 12. Remove the marker. Insert hook into the corresponding stitch. Similarly, in the first stitch of each round, we place a marker. 1 single crochet in each stitch until the end of each round. The crochet method for round 8 to 12 is the same, 42 single crochets per round. In order to save your time, we won't show the middle part. What you are watching now is round 12. Round 12 is done. Now let's count the rounds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Continue with round 13. Start working decrease from this round. Remove the marker. Work 5 single crochets first. Similarly, place a marker in the first stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 single crochets are done, then 1 decrease. 1 decrease here means merging 2 single crochets into 1. How to crochet the decrease? Find the front loop of 2 adjacent stitches. Like this. This is the front loop. Now let's demonstrate. Insert hook into the front loop of the first stitch. In the next stitch, still pick the front loop. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook now. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 decrease is done and the first set is done. Next, complete the remaining 5 sets by the same way. Make a set of 5 single crochets, 1 decrease. We need to repeat the set for 6 times. Now, let's make the second set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 single crochets are done, then 1 decrease. Insert hook into the front loop of the first stitch. In the next stitch, still pick the front loop. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. The second set is done. Again, 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 decrease. The third set is done. The fourth set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 decrease. The fifth set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 decrease, the 6th set, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 decrease. Continue crocheting round 14. Make a side toe, 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, 2 single crochets, and repeat it for 6 times. Remove the marker. Work 2 single crochets first. Similarly, mark the first stitch, the other single crochet. Then 1 decrease. Just pick the front loop of 2 adjacent stitches. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 decrease is done. The deal: 2 single crochets, the first set is done. Complete the remaining 5 sets by the same way. Two single crochets, then 1 decrease. To save your time, we won't show the middle part. Round 14 is done. Continue crocheting round 15. Make a side toe, 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, and repeat it for 6 times. Remove the marker. Let's start set 1. Work 3 single crochets first. Similarly, mark the first stitch. Two, 3. After 3 single crochets, then 1 decrease. Set 1 is done. Complete the remaining 5 sides by the same way. Round 15 is done. And continue crocheting round 16. Make a side toe, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, 1 single crochet, and repeat it for 6 times. Remove the marker. Work 1 single crochet first. Mark the first stitch, then 1 decrease. Still 1 single crochet. Set 1 is done. Complete the remaining 5 sides by the same way. Round 16 is done. Let's start round 17. Make a set of 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and repeat it for 6 times. Remove the marker. Work a single crochet first, and place a marker in the first stitch, then 1 decrease. Set 1 is done. Complete the remaining 5 sides by the same way. 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. In order to save your time, we won't show the middle part. Round 17 is done. Stuff cotton into the fabric. Make the cotton compact by the crochet handle. Let's start round 18. This is the last round. We need to work 6 single crochets in this round. Remove the marker. Work 1 decrease first. Just pick the front loop of 2 adjacent stitches. Place a marker in the first stitch. Then the second decrease. Complete the remaining 4 decreases by the same way. Similarly, in order to save your time, we won't show the middle part. The 5th decrease. The 6th decrease. Finally, remove the marker and work a slip stitch. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pull the front loop through the back one. Pick the yarn every other stitch. Tighten the loop until the fabric is closed. Tie a knot as close to the ball as possible. Pass the needle through the hole at the closing point. And pull it out from a suitable position. Pull out the yarn tail. Still tying a knot near the ball. The hole where the yarn came out, pass the needle through it again and pull it out from a suitable position. Similarly, pull out the yarn tail. Adjust the fabric so that the hole isn't too obvious. Cut the yarn tail. The rabbit's head is done. Now we start crocheting the rabbit's ears. Prepare what you need. Extend your left hand. Wrap the yarn around your little finger, then pull it over your index finger. Wrap the yarn around your middle finger. Use your thumb and middle finger to pinch the intersection. Insert hook into the ring. Pick the yarn and pull up a loop. There is a loop on the hook now. Pick the yarn again and pull it through the loop on the hook. One chain is done. Continue working 6 single crochets. Insert hook into the magic ring, hook the yarn, and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 single crochet is done. Place a marker in the first stitch. Continue working the second single crochet. Insert hook into the magic ring, hook the yarn, and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. Continue working the third single crochet. Insert hook into the magic ring, hook the yarn, and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. Complete the remaining 3 single crochets by the same way. 4, 5, 6, 6 single crochets are done. Pull the yarn tail hard until it can't be pulled. We are working in a spiral, so there is no need to make a slip stitch or starting stitch. Remove the marker. In round 2, we need to work 6 increases. 1 increase means working 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Remove the marker. Let's start round 2. Insert hook into the stitch where the marker was just now. Put the yarn tail on the hook to hide it while working. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 single crochet is done. Place a marker in the first stitch. Then, in the same stitch, work the other single crochet. Insert hook. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 increase is done. Continue working the second increase by the same way. Insert hook into the next stitch. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. Then work the other single crochet in the same stitch. Complete the remaining 4 increases by the same way. Increase 3. Increase 4. Increase 5. Increase 6. Six increases are done. Round 2 is done. Enlarge the loop and adjust the fabric. Cut the yarn tail. Continue crocheting round 3. Make a set of 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and repeat it for 6 times. Remove the marker. Work a single crochet first. Insert hook into the first stitch. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. Place a marker in the first stitch of round 3. Continue working 1 increase. Insert hook into the next stitch. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. The other single crochet in the same stitch. The first increase is done. Complete the remaining 5 increases by the same way. In order to save your time, we want to show the middle part. Set 6, 1 single crochet, 1 increase. Adjust it. Round 3 is done. The next round 4 to 7, work 18 single crochets in each round, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Remove the marker and crochet round 4 first. Similarly, after the first stitch, we place a marker here. The crochet method for the 4th to 7th rounds is the same. In order to save your time, we won't show the middle part. What you are watching now is round 7. Round 7 is done. Continue crocheting round 8. Make a set of 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, and repeat it for 3 times. Remove the marker. Work 4 single crochets first. Single crochet 1. Similarly, place a marker in the first stitch. Single crochet 2. Single crochet 3. Single crochet 4. 4 single crochets are done. Then 1 decrease. 1 decrease means merging 2 stitches into 1. This is the front loop of 1 stitch. Two adjacent stitches. Pick the front loop of the first stitch. Next, in the second stitch, still pick the front loop. Hook the yarn and pull it through both front loops. There are 2 loops on the hook now. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 decrease is done. Continue making set 2. Work 4 single crochets first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1 decrease. Pick the front loop of the first stitch. Next, in the second stitch, still pick the front loop. Hook the yarn and pull it through both front loops. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. 1 decrease is done. Complete the remaining by the same way. Round 8 is okay. Continue crocheting round 9. We need to work 15 single crochets in round 9. Similarly, mark the first stitch. Complete the remaining by the same way. Round 9 is done. Continue crocheting round 10. Make a set of 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, and repeat the set for 3 times. Remove the marker. Work 3 single crochets first. Place a marker in the first stitch. Single crochet 2. Single crochet 3. 3 single crochets are done, then 1 decrease. Pick the front loop of 2 adjacent stitches. Hook the yarn and pull it through both front loops. Pick the yarn and pull it through both loops on the hook. Complete the remaining by the same way. Round 10 is done. Continue crocheting round 11. Work 12 single crochets in this round. Remove the marker. Similarly, place a marker after the first stitch. Complete the remaining by the same way. Round 11 is done. Continue crocheting round 12. Make a set of 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, and repeat the set for 3 times. Remove the marker. Work 2 single crochets first. Place a marker after the first stitch. The second single crochet, then 1 decrease. Pick the front loop of 2 adjacent stitches. Complete the remaining 2 sides by the same way. We need to work a slip stitch at the end of round 12. Insert hook into the first stitch. Hook the yarn and pull up a loop. There are 2 loops on the hook now. Pull the front loop through the back one. 1 slip stitch is done. Pull the loop up. Cut the yarn and pull out the yarn tail. Let's start binding off. Pull the yarn through the needle. Insert needle into the second stitch and pull out the yarn tail. Pass the needle through the front loop of the slip stitch from inside out and pull out the yarn tail. Continue binding off. Pick every other stitch. Pick the front loop of the right stitch. Place a marker here. Again, bypass a stitch and pick the front loop of the next stitch. Complete the remaining by the same way. Remove the marker. Still pick the front loop of the corresponding stitch. Pull the yarn tail hard until it can't be pulled. Adjust the yarn in the middle of the back. 1 ear is done, then complete the other one by the same way. 2 ears are done. Let's start stitching. Determine the location. The rabbit's ears are sewn up in round 3. 1, 2, 3, probably here. Find a symmetrical position on both sides. The ear is sewn up in round 3. Same as here. Remove the pin. Insert needle into the hole next to where the pin was just now. Pull out the needle and the yarn. Pass the needle through the closing point. Turn around and tighten the yarn. Again, insert needle into the hole and come out from where the pin was just now. Repeat several times according to the video tutorial. pass through the side like this. Continue stitching from the back to the front. Pass through the side again. Continue stitching from the back to the front. Pass through the middle to the back. After pulling hard the yarn, let's tie a knot. The knot needs to be closer to the height to hide it. Pass through the previous sewn position and come out from another place. Pull out the yarn. Tighten the yarn. Adjust and tie a knot, still closer to the height. Pass through the hole just now and come out from a suitable hole. Pull out the yarn tail and adjust the fabric. Cut the yarn. Both ears are sewn to the height. Continue stitching the eyes and the nose. Count from top to bottom. Sew the eyes in round 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 10 stitches between 2 eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Adjust and keep it in the middle. Take out the brown yarn, just double strands. Pass it through the needle. From where the pin is, pass through its adjacent hole from bottom to top. Pull out part of the yarn, pass through from bottom to top again. Press one end of the yarn gently and pull out the other. Continue stitching the mouth, the second round below the eye. Under the eye, 3 stitches from outside to inside on both sides. Remove one pin. Find the adjacent hole on the left and mark the middle. Remove the outer pin and find the other position by the same way. Pass through the needle and pull out part of yarn again. Pull out the yarn. Adjust and cut it. Tuck the excess yarn tail into the fabric. Finally, let's trim it. Continue sewing the underneath. Insert needle into the middle position and come out from its adjacent hole below. Pull out the single strand yarn. Press one end gently. Pass through the same position again. Tighten and adjust it. Cut off the excess yarn tail with scissors. Tuck the excess part into the fabric with a sewing needle. Finally, let's trim the excess part. The sewing of rabbit's head and ear is done.